The distress signal. The celestial Voyager drifted silently through the void, its once majestic hull now scarred with jagged gashes and scorched metal. Emergency lights flickered throughout the vessel, casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance across the damaged corridors. Inside the ship's command center, Captain Nix hunched over the main console, her four arms working frantically across multiple control panels. The dim lighting accentuated the luminescent patterns etched across her indigo skin, patterns that now pulsed with the rapid rhythm of her distress. "Life support reserves at 32% and declining," announced Trill, the ship's systems operator. The small crystalline being's usual rainbow glow had dimmed to a pale blue as they interfaced directly with the ship's faltering systems. "Primary power core containment is failing. We have approximately 16 standard hours before catastrophic breakdown." Captain Nix straightened her spine, antennae quivering slightly as she surveyed what remained of her bridge crew. 6 beings from 6 different worlds, each the finest representatives of their respective species in the Galactic Confederation's Exploration Division. Now they floated in uncharted space, their vessel crippled by an unexpected gravitational anomaly that had torn through their shields as if they were gossamer. "What is the status of our distress beacon, Breen?" Nix asked, her voice maintaining the steady calm that had earned her command of the Confederation's most prestigious exploration vessel. The communications specialist swiveled toward the captain. Vreen's gelatinous form rippled with anxiety, translucent tendrils wrapping around the specialized controls designed for their unique physiology. "The long-range communication array is severely damaged, Captain. I can broadcast an emergency signal, but our position is well beyond established Confederation routes. There is no telling who might receive it, if anyone. Or what might receive it," added Krex, the security officer. The reptilian being's scales rattled slightly, an unconscious expression of apprehension among his kind. "This sector borders unaffiliated territories, including the Sol system." A heavy silence fell over the command center. The Sol system, Earth, humans. Humanity remained an enigma in the galactic community. Though they had achieved faster-than-light travel with remarkable speed for such a young species, they remained largely isolated, focused on their own system and a handful of colony worlds. Official contact had been minimal and carefully managed by specialized Confederation diplomats. "The stories about humans are inconsistent," offered Dr. Mira, the ship's xenobiologist. The avian scientist's feathers puffed slightly as all eyes turned to her. "Some traders claim they are primitive and aggressive, others that they possess remarkable adaptability and resourcefulness. Most species simply avoid their territory." Captain Nix's second set of hands clenched tightly. "We are out of options. Send the distress call on all frequencies, Vreen. I will not allow this crew to perish without attempting every possible means of rescue." Vreen's body pulsed with resigned acknowledgement. Their tendrils danced across the communication panel, and the distress beacon activated, sending its desperate plea outward through the emptiness of space. "May the cosmic currents guide someone merciful to our position," whispered Trill, their crystalline form resonating with the ancient prayer of space travelers. Maya Chen jolted awake as her ship's alert system pierced through her sleep cycle. She fumbled for the control panel beside her narrow bunk, silencing the insistent tone. "Report," she commanded, her voice still rough with sleep. The ship's AI responded immediately. "Anomalous signal detected. Pattern consistent with distress beacon. Origin: unidentified vessel. Location: approximately 2.7 hours from current position at maximum thrust." Maya swung her legs off the bunk and ran a hand through her short, dark hair. She was 5 days into a 3-week resource survey mission in the outer reaches of explored space. The mining corporation she contracted with had sent her to assess asteroid compositions in this uncharted sector, alone, as usual. They knew she preferred solitary assignments. "Display signal characteristics," she ordered, pulling on her flight suit. The holographic projection that appeared above her desk contained no recognizable language, but the mathematical sequence embedded within it was unmistakable, a universal distress code designed to be recognized across language barriers. Someone needed help, urgently. Maya hesitated. Changing course would delay her mission substantially. The corporation wouldn't be pleased. Bonuses depended on timely completion. And who knew what she'd find? This region was known for occasional pirate activity. False distress calls weren't unheard of. But 3 years ago, when her own ship had been crippled by a catastrophic engine malfunction, someone had answered her call. She owed the same to whoever was out there. Plot intercept course, she told the AI. Maximum sustainable thrust. 2 hours and 43 minutes later, Maya stared at her view screen in astonishment. The vessel before her was unlike any she'd ever seen. Approximately 3 times the size of her survey ship, it appeared to be constructed of interlocking hexagonal plates that seemed to shimmer with an inner light despite the obvious damage marring its surface. Not human design, she whispered unnecessarily. Though humanity had encountered a few extraterrestrial species, interactions remained limited and heavily controlled by Earth's Interstellar Affairs Bureau. Private citizens like her were explicitly instructed to avoid direct contact. Yet here she was, faced with a choice that no regulation could have anticipated. There were lives at stake, even if those lives weren't human. Open a communication channel, she instructed her AI. Broadcast in standard Earth English and include the mathematical response sequence to acknowledge their distress call. Taking a deep breath, Maya activated her transmitter. This is Maya Chen of the Earth Survey Vessel Pathfinder. I've received your distress call and am offering assistance. Please respond if you can understand me. For nearly 30 seconds, there was nothing. Then her screen flickered, and Maya found herself looking at a being with 4 arms and indigo skin covered in luminescent patterns. Behind it stood several other creatures, each wildly different from the next. "We receive you, Earth Vessel," the 4-armed being said in halting but understandable English. "I am Captain Nix of the Confederation exploration ship Celestial Voyager. Your response brings great relief." Maya's heart raced. This wasn't just first contact. This was simultaneous contact with multiple alien species. "What's your situation, Captain?" she asked, fighting to maintain a professional tone despite her amazement. "Critical," Nix replied. "Power core containment failing. Life support compromised. Navigation systems non-functional. We cannot maneuver effectively." Maya quickly assessed her options. Her ship was compact, but equipped with advanced docking mechanisms designed to connect with various mining installations. "I believe I can dock with your vessel if you can provide airlock specifications. I'll attempt to create a seal and come aboard to assess the damage." An hour later, after a tense docking procedure, Maya stood before the inner airlock door of the alien ship. She wore her EVA suit, partly for safety in an unknown atmosphere, partly as protection if these aliens proved hostile. The door slid open, revealing Captain Nix and 2 others. The gelatinous communication specialist and a small crystalline being that emitted a pale blue light. "Welcome aboard the Celestial Voyager," Captain Nix said formally. "You are the first human most of us have encountered. And you're the first aliens I've met," Maya replied honestly. "But pleasantries can wait. Show me your critical systems." The crystalline being, Trill, as they introduced themselves, led Maya through corridors lit only by emergency lighting and bioluminescent patches. The ship's design was fascinating. Organic curves blended with geometric precision in ways human engineers had never conceived. As they walked, Trill explained their situation in more detail. The gravitational anomaly had damaged multiple systems simultaneously. Most critically, their power core containment field was failing. Their life support system was operating at minimal capacity, and their navigation systems were completely offline. In the engineering section, Maya inspected the damaged systems. The technology was far more advanced than anything humanity had developed, but many principles remained recognizable. Physics was universal, after all. "Your power core containment can be stabilized," she said, already pulling tools from her kit. I've worked with similar field generators in deep space mining operations. The life support system is more concerning. It uses biological components I'm not familiar with. Impossible, rattled Krex, who had joined them in engineering. The security officer's tail lashed with agitation. Human technology is primitive compared to Confederation standards. You cannot possibly understand our systems. Maya didn't bother looking up from her work. Maybe not all of them, but energy containment fields follow universal principles. I don't need to understand everything about your technology to recognize failing power regulation when I see it. Before Krex could object further, the ship shuddered violently. Alarm tones, apparently universal in their urgency, blared throughout the vessel. "Captain," came Vreen's voice over the communication system. "Long-range sensors are detecting multiple vessels approaching at high speed. Configuration matches known raider ships." Captain Nix's voice remained steady despite the dire news. "Time until intercept. Approximately 5 hours, Captain." Maya's mind raced through possibilities. Raiders? Pirates? Scavengers, Trill explained, their crystalline form dimming further. They prey on disabled vessels, stealing technology and resources. Sometimes they take prisoners for ransom or worse. "Then we have 5 hours to either hide or run," Maya said, determination hardening her features. "And I think I might have a plan for both." As the alien crew gathered to hear her proposal, Maya realized she had crossed a line from which there was no return. Her simple survey mission had transformed into something that might forever change humanity's place in the galaxy. Unlikely alliance. The celestial Voyager's engineering bay had transformed in the hours since Maya's arrival. New connections ran between human and alien technology, creating hybrid systems unlike anything either civilization had previously designed. Maya stood at a makeshift control panel, her fingers dancing across unfamiliar interfaces as Trill guided her through the ship's engineering systems. "The power core containment field is stabilizing," Maya announced, studying the readings on her tablet. "We've got the radiation leak under control, but the field won't hold indefinitely with the damage regulators." Captain Nix nodded, her luminescent patterns glowing with cautious optimism. "What about propulsion?" "We've managed to reroute power to the secondary maneuvering thrusters," Maya explained. "It's not enough for sustained flight, but we should have limited maneuverability. Enough to implement my plan." Not everyone shared the captain's optimism. Krex clicked his teeth in obvious skepticism. This plan relies heavily on unproven human engineering. The risk of catastrophic failure is unacceptably high. "The risk of doing nothing is certain death," countered Dr. Mira, the avian cynobiologist who had quickly become Maya's strongest ally among the crew. "I've been studying human physiological responses. They show remarkable adaptability under pressure, a trait that served their species well during their rapid technological development." Maya suppressed a smile at being discussed, as if she were a specimen. "The scavengers are expecting to find a helpless vessel. They won't anticipate a coordinated defense, especially one using technology they're unfamiliar with." Vreen's gelatinous form rippled as they interrupted. "Updated scan results, Captain. The approaching vessels have increased velocity. New estimated arrival. 3 hours, 12 minutes. "Show me the surrounding sector again," Maya requested. The holographic display in the center of the engineering bay shifted to reveal their position relative to nearby celestial bodies. Approximately 40 minutes' journey at their current capabilities lay a dense asteroid field, their destination, and the key to Maya's plan. "The field contains high concentrations of thoronite," Maya explained, pointing to the mineral deposits highlighted on the display. "On Earth, we use thoronite in shield technology because of its unique properties when energized. If we can position ourselves at the edge of the field and release a controlled energy pulse from your damaged power core, we can create what my people call a phantom signature, a false electromagnetic echo that will make it appear as if your ship is in multiple locations simultaneously. The scavengers will not be fooled for long," Krex objected. "They don't need to be," Maya countered. Just long enough for us to implement Phase 2. She turned to Trill. Can your sensors differentiate asteroid compositions at range? The crystalline being's surface facets shimmered affirmatively. That is standard functionality for exploration vessels. Perfect. My ship is equipped with modified mining charges, low-yield explosives designed to fracture specific mineral compositions without damaging surrounding materials. If we can identify the right asteroids and detonate charges strategically, we can create a chain reaction within the field. Captain Nex's antennae quivered with sudden understanding. The resulting debris cloud and electromagnetic interference would mask our actual position while confusing their sensors. Exactly, Maya confirmed. While they're busy sorting through false readings, we'll use your maneuvering thrusters to push deeper into the field. My ship's mining sensors can map a safe path through the asteroids that their vessels won't be able to follow without similar equipment. The plan was dangerous, perhaps foolhardy, but as the crew dispersed to prepare, a new energy flowed through the previously despairing aliens. They moved with purpose, making preparations with an efficiency that impressed Maya. Captain Nix remained behind with Maya as the others left. "Why are you risking so much for us?" she asked directly. "Your authorities might punish you severely for this unauthorized contact." Maya paused in her calculations. "Where I come from, we have a saying. A stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet. Out here in the vastness of space, that's even more true. We all face the same void, the same dangers. If we don't help each other survive, what's the point of reaching for the stars in the first place?" 2 hours later, the celestial Voyager hovered at the edge of the asteroid field, its damaged hull reflecting the dim light of a distant star. Maya had returned temporarily to her ship, the Pathfinder, to prepare the specialized mining charges and calibrate her sensors for the coming maneuver. Scavenger vessels entering long-range scanning perimeter. Vreen's voice announced over the communication link between the ships. 3 vessels, heavy armament configuration. "They're spreading out to surround us," observed Krex, a new respect for Maya evident in his voice. "Standard hunting formation." Mina's fingers flew across her controls, finalizing the targeting sequence for her modified mining charges. "Initiating Phantom signature now, Captain." "Trill, begin the power core pulse sequence we programmed." The damaged power core of the celestial Voyager began to emit carefully controlled energy pulses, interacting with the thornite-rich asteroids surrounding them. On the scavenger sensors, it would appear as if the disabled ship was suddenly in 5 different locations. "Phantom signatures established," confirmed Trill. "Scavenger vessels are altering course, separating to investigate multiple contacts." "Now for Phase 2, Maya said. "Deploying mining charges." From the Pathfinder, 6 specialized charges launched toward precisely calculated positions within the asteroid field. Each charge was programmed to detonate upon contact with specific mineral compositions. "Charges away," Maya reported. "Impact in 30 seconds." Those 30 seconds stretched into eternity as the scavenger vessels drew closer. Then the first charge detonated, followed in rapid succession by the others. The carefully orchestrated explosions triggered exactly as Maya had predicted. Asteroids fractured along natural fault lines, releasing clouds of mineral-rich debris that cascaded through the field in a chain reaction. "Energy readings are spiking across the field," reported Vreen, their gelatinous form vibrating with excitement. "The scavenger vessel's sensors must be overwhelmed." "Activating maneuvering thrusters," Captain Nix commanded. "Follow the path Maya's sensors have mapped." The joined vessels began their delicate journey deeper into the asteroid field, following the safe corridor identified by the Pathfinder's specialized mining sensors. Behind them, the scavenger ships fired wildly at phantom readings, their weapons striking empty space or harmless asteroids. One of the scavenger captains, more perceptive than the others, suddenly realized the deception. Their vessel broke away from the confusion, accelerating directly toward the actual position of the celestial Voyager. "We've been spotted," warned Krex, one pursuer, closing rapidly. They're within weapons range, added Vreen. Maya made a split-second decision. Captain Nix, I need to separate my ship. Trust me. Without waiting for permission, she initiated emergency undocking procedures. The Pathfinder broke away from the celestial Voyager, its more nimble form wheeling back toward the pursuing scavenger. Maya, what are you doing? Captain Nix's voice crackled with concern over the comm. Creating a diversion, Maya replied, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her. Continue on the plotted course. I'll rejoin you deeper in the field. The scavenger ship, confronted with the unexpected aggressive maneuver from the much smaller vessel, hesitated momentarily, exactly as Maya had hoped. She pushed her engines to maximum, skimming perilously close to the scavenger before releasing her ship's remaining mining charges directly in its path. The resulting explosion wasn't designed to destroy the scavenger, merely to disable it temporarily. The shock wave caught the Pathfinder as well, sending Maya's small vessel tumbling between asteroids. Warning lights flashed across her control panel as she fought to regain stability. Maya, status report. Captain Nix's voice came urgently across the damaged communication system. Still here, Maya managed, finally bringing her ship under control. Damaged, but functional. The scavenger is drifting. Their primary systems appear offline. I'm returning to your position. 30 minutes later, the reunited vessels had reached the heart of the asteroid field, safely beyond the detection range of the confused scavengers. The immediate danger had passed, but new challenges awaited. In the Celestial Voyager's medical bay, Dr. Mira treated a laceration on Maya's forehead, a souvenir from her wild tumble through the asteroid field. The avian physician's touch was surprisingly gentle for hands evolved with talons. Your physiology is fascinating, Dr. Mira commented. Your cellular regeneration rate is quite impressive for a carbon-based species. Maya winced slightly as a healing compound was applied to her wound. Thanks, I think. Captain Nix entered the medical bay, her luminescent patterns glowing with a vibrancy that had been absent when Maya first arrived. The scavenger vessels have retreated from the asteroid field. It seems they decided we were not worth the trouble. Good news, Maya said, sitting up carefully. Now we just need to figure out how to get your ship to a proper repair facility. That is why I have come, Nix replied. Our navigation officer has analyzed the data from your ship's star charts. There is a Confederation outpost approximately 12 days' journey from our current position at the limited speed we can now achieve. Maya calculated quickly. That would put me nearly 3 weeks behind on my survey contract. A significant sacrifice, Nix acknowledged. We would not ask it of you except that without your guidance through the asteroid field and your ship's power assistance, our journey would be impossible. Maya didn't hesitate. Of course I'll help. My employers will understand. They wouldn't, but that was a problem for future Maya. Krex, who had entered behind Captain Nix, stepped forward. The security officer's demeanor had changed dramatically since their first encounter. Human, Maya. I must acknowledge that I misjudged your species. The stories we had heard did not prepare us for your resourcefulness or your willingness to aid strangers at great personal risk. Perhaps that is because different cultures value different stories, observed Dr. Mira thoughtfully. The tales of human aggression and primitive behavior come primarily from species who encountered your military or commercial vessels. Those who met your explorers and scientists tell quite different accounts. Maya smiled wryly. Humans are complicated. We contain multitudes, as one of our poets said. We can be both selfish and selfless, aggressive and compassionate, often within the same individual. A paradoxical species, Captain Nix said with what Maya was beginning to recognize as admiration. The Confederation's official first contact protocols have perhaps been overly cautious in limiting interactions with humanity. As Maya followed the alien crew back to the bridge to plan their journey to the outpost, she realized the implications of what had occurred. This unexpected encounter, born of desperation and chance, might forever change the relationship between humanity and the wider galactic community. One small act of compassion, answering a distress call, had opened a door that centuries of official diplomacy had kept barely ajar. Whatever challenges lay ahead on their journey, whatever consequences awaited her return to Earth, Maya knew she had made the right choice. In the vastness of space, the boundaries between species seemed far less important than the bonds forged through shared struggle and mutual aid. The stars beckoned to all sentient beings equally, and perhaps it was time for humanity to truly join the cosmic conversation.